Alright, we're back with the ukulele and the Impossible Lair.
Or as I like to call it, ukulele and the playable level.
So we're gonna go into my completed file because we're not just playing through the game. So this game is named after the final level, which is the Impossible Lair. However,
We'll get to it, Zach.
Yeah, we'll get to that. However, the Impossible Lair is not just the final level; it's also the first level. When you start the game, you start out in the Impossible Lair, and you're basically you will most likely die. And when you do, you're brought back to the hub area. But like. The whole point of the game is to be able to beat the Impossible Lair, and the way you usually do it is you go around the world completing levels to get members of the B-Tallion. Every B that you get from the B-Tallion, you get like 2 from each level, because each level basically contains 2 levels. Each one gives you an extra hit that you can take in the Impossible Lair. But there is a challenge to try and beat the Impossible Lair with no B-Tallion, which means, you take 1 hit and you lose Laylee, you take another hit and you're dead. And the Impossible Lair is a big, long gauntlet of a level with no checkpoints and no ways to get Laylee back if you happen to lose her. With, at least 4 boss fights with capital B. It's a very difficult challenge, and I've never done it. So, the idea of this is I'm going to attempt to do the Impossible Lair. I have until the time for the next game to try and complete this challenge. I fully expect not to do it. I've done 17 attempts for practice and only made it 35% of the way through. So, yeah. I don't know what we're gonna do if I actually happen to beat it within the time, but we'll see. So yeah, let's just get right into the Impossible Lair. And, you might as well explain the iCarly thing.
Okay, before we get to the donation goal, we're going to explain what the donations are for. So we are Dawn of a New Day. It's a charity livestream event that we are doing in support of the charity Direct Relief. 100% of all donations go towards Direct Relief, which is a charity that helps people out in times of crisis. So they help out with disaster relief and humanitarian aid, humanitarian crises. They're currently active in the situation in Ukraine. So if that's a situation or other situations like that you're interested in helping out with, that you can donate towards Direct Relief. We don't have any specific donation goals for this game, but we do have a longer-term stretch donation goal, which, in the theme of some of the other musical talent that we've displayed on the donation goals, I had the genius idea of doing something slightly live stream related. So I don't know how much the audience is currently familiar with the show. I think it's a Nickelodeon show, iCarly. But the theme song for iCarly begins with one of the characters, Freddy, basically kind of doing counting them into being live. And so whenever during the live stream, we've been like, okay, and we're live. My brain has always instantly gone into playing the iCarly theme in my head because I watched that show way too much when I was younger. So I thought, you know what, how about I make my contribution to the canon of musical talent here at Dawn of a New Day and perform my rendition of the iCarly theme. So that's the idea behind that one. If you're interested in seeing that, or if you're just interested in donating, that will eventually happen. So yeah.
Alright.
That's what that says.
So a little more context on the game that I'm playing. It is the second ukulele game. The first one was basically a spiritual successor to Banjo-Kazooie, made by some of the same people who made Banjo, because Platonic made it, and they are made up of ex-Rareware guys. I think their team has expanded quite a bit since that first game, but so while that was a Banjo spiritual successor, this is a Donkey Kong Country spiritual successor, so it's a 2D platformer, and it has, you know, a lot of similarities to DKC, but also a lot of its own unique stuff, like, you know, the whole thing around the Impossible Lair itself being the biggest thing.
Essentially, what we're saying is that the next ukulele game will be an homage to Killer Instinct.
You know, I have like sort of mixed.
Speedway.
I have like some weird mixed feelings about Impossible Lair, because on one hand, I love collectathons, and like that's what I wanted out of Playtonic because of, you know, the first ukulele. Like I really like the first ukulele, despite, you know, how controversial it sort of was, where it didn't really review all that well when it came out, and people didn't quite like it that much, but I think it's really good.
Fancies were not tickled.
But, so, to them go, instead of making another game like it, because, you know, one of the things that really excited me about ukulele is just the potential return of the genre itself, because prior to 2017, the collectathon genre was kind of dead, and so ukulele was like the first of the 3 big collectathons of that year that sort of brought it back.
What were the big 3 in your eyes?
Well, it was this, Hat in Time, and Mario Odyssey.
Okay, because I was about to just mention that, at least from my kind of general understanding of the collectathon canon, the almost not kind of maybe basically collectathons, but technically not actually, became a lot more popular than the collectathon proper in the years kind of between the initial popularity of them and then the resurgence.
Yeah. I am actually doing really well in this first attempt.
For anyone unaware of what I'm particularly referencing, I recently came to the understanding that despite basically being a collectathon, games like A Hat in Time and Psychonauts kind of aren't, because a lot of the collecting is just kind of like a secondary fun objective and has very little to do with the core progression, which is far, far, far more based around just kind of going through basic levels. Actually, one thing that we kind of realized while doing the Hat in Time routing, or at least I personally realized, was that you don't really need that much yarn. I think you need probably about 20 yarn, and there's far more than that in the entire game to beat it, and only 25 timepieces, which means you can skip out on at least a full world of the game, a bunch of the secondary things with the time rifts, and you don't need to touch the DLC either. Which kind of makes sense because the DLC came out after the game, but still. Let's put it this way, there's a whole lot of collecting that you really don't need to do. The badges are just fun little extra abilities, which I love, and they definitely make the game better, but once again, not needed.
But yeah, so I was a bit conflicted on this game specifically because, you know, while the main thing I wanted out of ukulele were more collectathons, but, you know, as you know, I'm also a huge DKC fan, so it's not like I was upset that they're making another DKC game, essentially. Also, this game is really good. I'd even say I prefer it to the original ukulele, even if I do wish they'd go back to the collectathons with another game. Like Impossible Lair, like, okay, the first ukulele, again, I think is really good, but there are some flaws with it. But I can't really think of much in the way of flaws with Impossible Lair. I guess the main thing is the lack of boss fights, because aside from like the 4 times you fight capital B in the Impossible Lair, there are no boss fights. like, other than that, like, I got no complaints for this game. Uh-oh. Think, okay. I've lost Laylee, so things are gonna get harder. So DKC had the 2 Kong system, where you had 2 Kongs, each representing a single hit that you could take. And then the retro ones instead changed them to sort of be power-ups. In Impossible Lair, Laylee acts as a extra hit, but also gives you a sort of like spin that you can do when you're jumping to help with platforming, and I just died stupidly. Yeah, I didn't. I was just shy of getting where the farthest point that I've gotten before. Yeah, Neo Lake, you should definitely try this out. It's really good.
I briefly tried the Impossible Lair because I got it for free on Epic at one point or another, and it's kind of funny. I dropped it because my brain couldn't figure out how the roll worked.
Really?
Well, yeah, because you can extend the roll, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's not just a single length. And that was the thing, is that you could extend it, but it had a definite beginning and end to it. And my brain kept thinking that you could go for longer, so I kept killing myself. And I was just like, okay, you know what? It's like a 12. I'm just gonna stop playing this for now. And then I just never went back to it. Yeah. Not bad. Just it was one of those games that, like, I don't know if you played Nioh before, which is that samurai Dark Souls-like game. But I tried playing that at one point, and my Dark Souls muscle memory made it impossible to play because the controls are just different enough to Dark Souls to be different, but not so different that the muscle memory doesn't kick in.
Yeah. Oh, is that a donation I hear?
It's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's Zach with $15.
Is that enough to reach our goal?
I think that may or may not be. In other words, those are the 2 options. It could or it could not be. We have hit $1,200. That is, in fact, our goal. I do need to sing the iColly theme song.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Zach.
Yeah, okay. Before you do that, I just want to quickly finish up explaining Laylee, because, like, okay, you get this little spin in the air when you have her that you can't do without her, and also, oh, okay, that hurt me. But also, the extended roll can only be done when you have Laylee. There's also other, like, abilities tied to tonics, but we don't have access to those. I'll explain later. But when you get hit with Laylee, Laylee will fly around. She won't just immediately leave, and you have a chance to recover her. So there is some leniency to it, but yeah, it can be hard to get her because she can be pretty frantic. And all right, that's basically it. So whenever you're
I gotta pull something up real quick. I gotta make sure I'm not getting the full thing because the words are changed from the small one to the big one. Theme song version. Okay, here we go. Just get my microphone out of my stand. Pull the thing into place. Okay. I guess I should probably count in as well because we got to do the what's it called, the intro bit. Okay, and in 5, 4, 3, 2. I know, you see, somehow the world will change for me and be so wonderful. Live life, breathe air. I know somehow we're gonna get there and feel so wonderful. It's all for real. I'm telling you just how I feel. So wake up, the members of my nation. It's your time to be. There's no chance unless you take one. And the time to see the brighter side of every situation. Some things aren't meant to be, so give your best and leave the rest to me. Leave it all to me. Leave it all to me. Just leave it all to me. And there we go. That is iCarly as done from the original show. There's a full studio version, but I've never listened to that. I've only ever done the theme song version. Also, can we just take a minute to respect the line? There's no chance unless you take one, and the brighter time to and the time to see the brighter side of every situation. Because you got to take your chance, and you got to take the time. It's done so well. The pacing of it is just banger. It was reminding me of I think I mentioned this earlier in the stream for anyone that was there, but that kind of like, I don't know if wordplay is the right word, but kind of that use of contrasting words like that. Genuinely, for some reason, television theme songs have absolutely nailed that. The other example I was thinking of is the Carmen Sandiego theme song. It does some really clever stuff with like juxtaposing words like that. And it's just, it's way smarter than it has any damn right to be. Way smarter. I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you for the donation, Zach.
Zach's been donating a lot today.
I know, he's a real high roller.
We appreciate it.
We do. And Direct Relief appreciates it. Also, Neo Lanky, thank you very much.
I suppose you come up with another goal then.
Well, I think more importantly, we need to extend the shmoney limit on the goal.
Yeah, how much you thinking?
I think we've just been doing $50 increments, so do we just want to do another $50 increment? Unless we want to slow the roll down a little bit. Yeah. It's up to you. We don't really have many game-specific things. Is there anything that... actually,
honestly, I could just do what I did before and just sing another DKC cartoon song.
Actually, yeah, it's still fitting.
Yeah. Alright, I'll change that. Do we want to like do a whole 50 for that?
Don't do 20?
Yeah, that might be more reasonable.
20. Alrighty. Okay. I am going to clean up the coffee that I had last night, which I haven't dealt with because I have been up all night until 8, and then I dropped my car off, and then, yeah. So, busy day. Also, I still haven't picked my car up because I needed to get a ride down, and people were busy, so I couldn't get a ride. So I have to go pick it up tomorrow, which means after I finish this stream, I can't go to bed. I have to go pick up my car. Alrighty. Also, no, I think I said that already. Okay. I'll be back.
Alright. I think it's just me at the moment. Oh, Laylee, no. Oh, I got her back. Oh, and I lost her. Okay, got her back again. Like, you cannot lose Laylee. If you lose her, the chances of you getting past this, just, oh, you need her. Oh no. Yeah. Don't think I'm gonna be making it that much farther this run. Yeah, I tried to use her to spin, but no. It's... The control is not exactly DKC, but it's fairly close. Couldn't quite describe the intricacies of how it differs. It might take some adjusting if you're really used to the other games, though. You're used to seeing this first fight, because yeah, not kidding with this being difficult. Yeah, I just died. That last attack he does in this first phase can be quite troublesome, depending on the positions in which he shoots. So if you have to roll under the last one, it's really hard to dodge that and hit him.
Alrighty, I returned.
Hello, returned.
Oh, you! There's one thing that I actually forgot to mention while we were playing A Hat in Time last night. Do you remember the rift where you have the birds following you?
Yes.
Do you remember that one jump you have to do under the gate? That's like the fence gate thing?
Yes.
Whenever I was doing that in my practice run, my instant thought was of the Donkey Kong roll jump. Because you have to do the thing where you make sure you use your double jump after you've gone lower than where you jumped from.
Yeah.
It has a very DKC feeling to it, that one particular jump, and it's the only jump like that you need to do in the entire game.
Yeah, I usually just use the no bonk badge by that point, so...
I actually equipped the no bonk badge. In my practice run, I managed to do it without needing it, but that time I bulked off twice and I had like 2 HP left, and I just thought, okay, we're in a race, I need to equip this.
Yeah.
I cannot afford to die.
So, I know you've said some stuff I don't quite agree with involving DKC, mostly the visuals, but I think you said you're not really too huge on them in general, right?
I've not given the classic games a huge... I wouldn't call my experience of them a fair shake. I played a few of them on emulators years ago, but this was kind of during the phase where my engagement with emulators was boot something up, go, huh, that's neat, and then never touch it again.
All right.
I've been playing DKC Returns on my 3DS occasionally. I think I beat the first world. It's very, very intermittent, my playing of it. I don't know, honestly, 2D platformers just aren't really my thing.
Alright.
I'm trying to think of 2D platformers that I've really enjoyed. I guess there's like Metroid Fusion, but most of the reason I like Metroid Fusion had very little to do with the gameplay, and it more had to do with the way that it played with genre and narrative, which Donkey Kong Country doesn't really play with.
Yeah.
At least, not in the same way.
Did I really just lose lately here? Come back.
Oh, and when I'm saying playing with genre, I'm not talking about playing with kind of like expected mechanics and stuff. I'm talking about playing with the tropes and symbols that are commonly associated with this particular genre. Which is quite different. Mind you, it does do like a few mechanical subversions, but predominantly, as I said, a lot of that's to do with kind of the way that the narrative implications of those play out, rather than more to do with subverting them for creating more interesting gameplay environments.
Alright.
I definitely have a lot of respect for certain elements that the DKC games either popularized or innovated, but something about them has always just been a real struggle for me.
I mean, if they're not your thing, they're not your thing.
Yeah. I definitely think the modern games are closer to my speed than the classic ones, though. I will say, out of all the games I played made by Retro Studios, DKC Returns is probably my favorite one, so if that counts for anything.
I mean, if you like returns, and I mean the reason why you wouldn't like Tropical Freeze, that's just returns, but even better.
I imagine I would like Tropical Freeze a great deal more than I enjoyed Returns. I've just never tried it. I did have a very good time watching Kareem play it the other day. Well, I guess like a few weeks ago now, but actually it might have been a few months ago now. I don't remember.
Alright.
Whenever Harain was playing Tropical Freeze, I enjoyed watching him play it.
Yeah.
I will say, one thing that I don't quite know how to describe, but Donkey Kong Tropical Returns, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, and the way a lot of that stuff was set out. Obviously because it came first, I don't think that this thing that I'm going to mention influenced it, but I do think they obviously draw from a fairly similar design lineage, and it was that it looked very similar in certain ways to the new Crash Bandicoot game. More of just a vibe thing. I haven't played Crash 4 yet. Well, I guess Crash 4 2 if you want to get technical.
Yeah. That's still kind of weird.
It is very confusing to me.
I wonder if they would do the same thing with Spyro.
What? Let's just go to was the Enter the Dragonfly officially called Spyro 2 in certain regions? I mean, not Spyro 2, Spyro 4. Spyro 2 is called Spyro 2.
Okay. I don't know if it was, but it's close enough to the Wrath Cortex situation. But yeah, I don't know if they did call it 4.
Yeah, because wasn't Wrath of Cortex called Spyro 4 in a different... Not Spyro 4.
No,
Oh my god, my brain
Crash
is just
4.
dying. It was called Crash 4 in Europe or something, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
something like that.
Okay. I have messed up every single game name I've tried to say in the last, like, 5 minutes.
Hey guys.
Oh.
Yep.
Hello.
Hello.
Here too.
I am failing at the Impossible Lair as expected.
I guess it's living up to its namesake.
You know, it's funny. When the game first came out, you could only attempt the true Impossible Lair, like when you start your file. Because if you lost the first time, you would have to create a new file and have to do the intro bit again.
Oh yeah?
They have since changed it where there's a lever in the hub that changes it from the Impossible Lair to when you have the Battalion. It's called the Not So Impossible Lair.
That's pretty funny.
Also, at launch, there are... Like, okay, so technically the Not So Impossible Lair does have checkpoints, but only technically.
What do you mean by that?
So, if you, like, at launch, if you died in the Impossible Lair, you have to start all over from the beginning. Every time. And that's still the case when you're attempting the true Impossible Lair, but they've changed it where every time you have a boss fight with capital B, you get a checkpoint. However, that checkpoint also saves the amount of battalion that you have at that time. So if you get to a certain point, but perhaps you've used up too many battalion, you'd have to start over to refresh that. Otherwise, you have to continue with what you've had at that point.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and I think the changes they made makes it a lot better. I have beaten it before that was changed. Although with the battalion, it's a lot easier because you get like 48 extra hits.
I was about to say, I guess you could say that you had beaten it.
Yeah, and I mean, even still, like the last time I played through the game, did I really just do that? Oh, jeez. But the last time I played through this, I did get through the entire Not So Impossible Lair on my first attempt. Yeah. Like,
Oh yeah.
the not-so-impossible lair can still be a challenge, even if you have full battalion. Like on your first attempt. Because, like, even though you do have a massive health bar, essentially, you know, the Impossible Lair is full of traps and easy ways to get hit, so it can still be a bit of a challenge, even with a full battalion. But once you've done it the first time and are more familiar with the game and just, better, you could do it no problem.
Yeah.
Jeez. Lately. Oh, okay. That would have sucked if I didn't have Laylee for... if I lost her right at the beginning.
My brain always goes to the babies from Yoshi's Island with that.
Yeah, it's kind of similar. The only thing, Laylee is probably harder to get back because she's really frantic and you don't have like a tongue to...
Yeah, definitely. But, I don't know. It's always fun to kind of see the potential mechanical influences that games that kind of cite that previous era platformers might have.
Yeah.
Because oftentimes it's not as much about replicating the exact feel of a particular game, but instead more kind of evoking both of that game and its contemporaries. Also, goodbye, Laylee.
Yeah. This is not the run.
How do you know that?
Because there's a jump coming up that is really difficult without Laylee.
I believe in you.
I mean, I'll try, but you need to do a roll jump. Yeah. I think you need to do a roll jump there if you don't have Laylee to make it, and the space is really tight.
That's what we call a skill issue.
Yeah, it is. It takes a lot of skill to get through the Impossible Lair.
Indeed.
Yeah. This is the only thing I have left to do in this game, because I've gotten all the achievements.
Oh yeah? I guess that would be an achievement for beating the Impossible Lair.
There is no achievement for the Impossible Lair. They were a bit nice on that.
Oh man,
There is
an
in-game unlockable though for it, the gold skin, and that's the.
I'm
only
so
Sonic
mixed.
I don't have.
I'm so mixed on 100% completion rewards, because simultaneously, it's nice to have something, but also it kind of sucks to get something at the exact moment that you're probably not going to be playing the game very much anymore.
Yeah. That's why
I especially find it
me,
unfortunate with Oh yeah, keep going.
It kind of annoys me when people complain about like collectathons not really having rewards for 100%. It's like, well, what are you gonna do with that reward?
Well, see, I don't think there's a problem with having 100% reward if there's a new game plus.
That's true. Yeah.
But the thing is that there's a lot of games that have 100% rewards that don't have new game pluses, and there's a lot of games with new game pluses that don't have 100% rewards.
Yeah, like, okay. If there is a new game plus, then that's the obvious thing. And we got
Even just having an option to start a new save file with an unlockable outfit or something would be really great.
Yeah, something like that would be cool. We got a donation. Can you look at that?
Yes, I will. $1 donation from I'm Neo, I'm Leo, I'm DZX Clock. That's a reference for anyone. Probably get it from Neo. Here is $1 for Red, one day inevitably playing Killer Instinct, even though he doesn't play fighting games. And for charity. Thank you very much for that, Neo.
You know what? Now that I think about it, maybe next year that could be like. So one thing one goal for my channel that I've had is I wanted to like cover every N64 rare game at some point. Killer Instinct Gold is the big questionable one because it is a traditional fighting game and I suck at traditional fighting games. So I don't think I'd be able to make a fair review of it.
Well, I think it's time to get doing some homework.
So, a charity marathon where I play through that could actually be how I cover that game, and I am about to die.
Score a skill issue?
Look, I get it.
I'm gonna say that every single time you die.
You're gonna be saying it a lot.
Speaking of Fulgore, it took me years to realize that Fulgore was on the N64 controller box art.
Interesting.
You know what's weird? For some reason, I have an N64 fight stick. I don't have any fighting games on N64 besides, Killer Instinct Gold, which I got much later. I've had this fight stick since I was a child. I don't know why we have that fight stick.
There was always one fighting game I kind of was intrigued by on the N64 that I kind of wanted to get.
Oh.
Dark Mace.
I don't know what that is.
Let me look it up.
No, you can't have it, Neo Lanky. The only reason I got the game was because I wanted a full rare N64 collection. I do have all 11 rare games on N64 physically.
Mace the Dark Age is what it's called.
Conquer really hurt the wallet. Anyways, so yeah, the reward for completing the Impossible Lair is a tonic that changes your skin to be gold. And that's another big thing that this game has, the tonic system. There are tonics that you find throughout the hub world that you can equip. You can only equip 3 tonics at a time, at least initially. And the tonics have a wide range of things they can do. Some of them are just cosmetic, like changing your skin, or changing screen filters and such like that. But some of them actually have gameplay changes. And the ones that affect gameplay have quill modifiers. Quills are basically the bananas of the game, but they're actually used to purchase tonics, and depending on what tonics you have equipped, you can either multiply the amount of quills that you get at the end of a level, or reduce them. The ones that, make things easier for you reduce the quills that you get, while ones that make things harder for you increase how many you get. That is a pretty cool system that this game has that I don't make much use of, because I don't want to use the ones that make things easier, because 1, I don't want to break the challenge. 2, even the ones that are more fun, extending your little twirl that Laylee does, they'll decrease the amount of quills you get. And I like just, playing the game with its deep base challenge. So, the tonics that I use are mostly just all cosmetic ones, and that was a dumb death. Oof. Everybody spent 75 on Conquer. I spent 100. But yeah, so the tonic system is a pretty cool thing. I mostly use it for cosmetics, but if you think, well, why don't you just use some of those tonics to help out in the Impossible Lair? Tonics are disabled in the Impossible Lair.
Hey, they call it the Impossible Lair for a reason, buddy.
Yeah, you can't make the Impossible Lair easier. You have to play by its own rules.
I will say, I do generally take the Fashion Souls approach to equipable items in video games.
Yeah, I do quite like the idea of having all these different things you can equip to even affect gameplay. But I don't know, I like the base challenge.
Well, it's not even necessarily that. It's just that, as I said, much with the same philosophy that Fashion Souls is born out of. Looking cool while playing a game is far more important than being OP.
Yep. Yeah.
And that's why Bloodborne's armor system is the best of the series.
Oh, does it have like a social slot or something?
No, it's just armor's really unimportant.
Oh, okay.
It's all kind of sucks that there are only a handful of bosses that really have high elemental damage that equipping armor for would be helpful. You don't even need to upgrade armor as well, and it basically doesn't have any effect on your equip load, so you can kind of just throw in whatever and it's fine. Basically, they took all of the choice and trade-offs for equipping armor steps off in Bloodborne, which, as I said, it makes looking pretty easier.
Man, Terraria really spoiled me when it came to armor in games. It's like, just having the ability to have a social slot where you can just, where you could have, you know, the stats of one armor type, but then use other armors for, just to make your character look cool. It's like, more games should do that. In fact, like, unless there's a good reason why something like that shouldn't be the case, like, I don't know, perhaps Breath of the Wild, where, like, you know, there's environmental stuff, like, you know, having to wear a coat in cold areas, you know? Unless there's a good
I still
reason.
don't think that's a good reason.
I mean, I would certainly love a social slot in Breath of the Wild. And I would not complain about the lack of realism, especially since you could just chug a potion or something in that game.
Yeah,
Like-
exactly.
Like spicy food. But,
Yeah. Sorry, just before we keep going, I want to mention the Xenoblade X. One of the reasons I like the way that armor does it is because it doesn't just have social slots, but it has a really modular armor system. You have left arm, right arm, legs, feet, body, and head.
yeah, I do like it when, you know, there's more than just shirt, pants, head, wear.
Mm-hmm. And you can do different things that equip in different slots. There are certain things that are like kind of full outfits. There are other ones that are modular. Yeah, it's very cool. You can mix and match a lot of stuff. And then, as I said, it's completely done like that. So you don't need that. The one problem with that system though is you do need a physical copy of the item in order to use it. Which actually, the Xenoblade Definitive Edition made a really good change, which is if you ever find a piece of armor with a particular fashion style, you may then equip that in the cosmetic slot thing without needing to have a piece of that armor in your inventory. It's just a matter of if you've seen that kind of armor before, which is so much better.
Nice.
But Terraria definitely spoils you with that.
Yeah.
It's one of the reasons that I really like the they're not dev slots, but not dev armors, but like the almost cosmetic only armors.
Yeah. Oh, I almost lost Lele there.
I gotta say, watching the stream through the stream, it means I get spoilers from you in the voice chat because it's a few seconds behind.
That's it. Okay.
You can do this, Red.
I mean, I don't think I can, but I appreciate the enthusiasm. Okay, finally made it back to Capital B. The second fight. Yeah, you know... Well, I think undervalue cosmetics in games. It's like, I know I remember a lot of times, especially during like 7th gen or even 8th gen, where it's like people would justify like DLC or microtransactions. It's like it's just cosmetics, so it doesn't.
I was about to
do
say, if someone doesn't undervalue cosmetics, it's games publishers. They know exactly what they're worth.
Yeah, it's just
Look
like,
at Fortnite.
like yes, I'm gonna complain about stupid overpriced DLC or microtransactions with cosmetics because I like cosmetics and they should just be part of the game.
I do like that how in today's day and age, horse armor seems like a quaint nicety. It's like, oh, it's a few bucks for horse armor. That's not that bad.
Man, remember when people were complaining about that? I wish we were still at that.
Yeah, exactly.
And not microtransactions for cars, as was discussed.
Yeah, and not literally governments needing to step in to legislate.
Why am I siding with the governments?
It's kind of weird that governments are on the side of gamers now. Oh, how the world has changed.
Okay. Beat the second capital B fight. Okay. Hopefully I can actually make past my previous record. Alright, can you remind me how long this part is supposed to last?
Oh, how long the segment is?
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta check the new schedule.
Oh, that was...
Oh, did someone shoot off a tweet for the event? No, we did not. I will mention that.
Feel free to add my server, or add everyone to my server.
Yes, it looks like the next event is GoldenEye at 2 a.m.
2 a.m. Okay.
So we got about an hour and a bit.
Yeah. You know, never like thought of like a lose condition for me if I don't end up finishing this, which, you know, again, I stress is very likely that I'm not gonna finish it. But you know what? The next goal is for me to sing a TKC cartoon. If I don't make it, I'll sing too. Well, I made it past my previous record, but I lost Laylee. Oh, this part in particular is gonna be tough for that Laylee. Ah, yeah, dead. GoldenEye is going to be single player. It's going to be me playing through the whole main game on 00 Agent difficulty.
I'm just gonna link the tweet in the promotion channel of your server.
Right. My hands are sweaty.
Okay, there we go.
Right.
Tweet embed, please work. Okay. There we go. Oh, I do need to fill up my water at some point.
Hydrate yourself.
Yes, reminder to every single person in chat and all the other co-hosts right now, hydrate, it's important. Or like don't, you don't have to, but you know, it's like probably good.
Sorry, I had to step away for a second. I'm back.
Okay.
How goes the Impossible Lair? You seem to be in a remarkably similar spot as you were before.
I mean, I beat my previous record by 1%.
I see. Getting there, slowly but surely. Have the never giving up kind of mentality.
Oh man.
I guess it's not worth it to get rid of those by going down and using the missile then. Maybe medicine again. Yeah. I'll admit that's not the worst advice to give up if you're tired thing. Yeah. Admittedly, taking a break when it's for the benefit of your health is probably for the better.
Or it might be for the weak.
I mean, I'm
Yeah,
doing fine.
well, I mean,
Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. Perfect.
Well,
Okay.
I just threw that runaway. There goes Laylee.
Oops.
I think I'm making it look easy. I haven't even gotten close to halfway.
is there any way to get her back?
Nope. There are these
Dang.
bells that you can find in the normal levels, but not the Impossible Lair. Oh, what was that? Huh. That's 29 attempts. And only 36% of the level complete.
Oh,
Yeah, again, I do not expect to finish this.
we'll see. It's still only 1 o'clock. You have until, what is that, 2 o'clock?
Well,
Got an hour.
It's been an hour and I only made 1% extra, 1% of progress, so...
Well, we'll see, man. I need to just be shaking off the rust a little, you know?
You know, I think it's been longer since Impossible Lair came out than it has been in between the first ukulele and Impossible Lair. So it's like, hey, Platonic, where's the next game? What you got?
Hopefully something good.
And I hope it's another ukulele collectathon. Though, even while I certainly would prefer that, just because, you know, I want more collectathons. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily complain if it's another game like Impossible Lair.
Yeah. Like, it still looks like it's a fun game.
Oh yeah. Honestly, like I think I do prefer this to the first ukulele, but I want.
You like collectathons, and there aren't that many of them around, so
Yeah.
yeah.
And when it comes to, you know, DKC like platformers, we're at the point where we're starting to get indie games that are more like what did I did not grab the rope. What the But yeah, like couple years I forget when it came out. Was it 2019 or 2020?
I do know which game it
Or
is.
maybe I forget. Whatever. Caves in the Wild Mask came out not too long ago, which is an indie platformer that's basically a classic DKC game.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, that one game is also pretty good.
Cool.
And I also like recently found another game, another indie game on Twitter that's looking like another, you know, based pretty much DKC game. It's not out yet, but so it's like, you know, we're at the point where indie devs are making their own DKC-like games. So there's no shortage of DKC-like platformers, but there's still a bit of a shortage of collectathons.
Yeah. Well, I suppose people make ukulele are indie devs too, right? So.
Yeah, so. But, you know, since they were the ones who, or at least some of the developers, or some of the ones who made the original game, so it's a little different.
Yeah. Got it.
Look at that some genres tend that trend up and down, but doesn't anyone think there's an untapped market with no competition there? I mean, yeah, there's a bit of resurgence because of the, you know, 2017, but it'd be nice if there's a little more. And yeah, unfortunately, with the ukulele, didn't it kind of got overshadowed by Hat in Time and Odyssey. Because why didn't I grab that? But you know, at the very least, you know, with Hat in Time and Odyssey being successful, that
There's it helps generate an interest for it, which means it's possibly more likely to happen.
yeah.
I don't know, like this game sort of gives me almost a Rayman Legends kind of vibe. I mean, obviously without like the swapping out of characters and everything else. It's just something about, maybe it's just the style of it, but I don't even know if that's really accurate, because the Rayman Legends was very different styles too. Maybe it's just the color palette that's getting me. I don't know. It's just what comes to mind when I look at it.
Yeah, Rayman Legends has some pretty, I don't know if I say powerful or strong, but that uses a lot of accentuated lighting.
Yeah, so that may be what's getting me here.
That's what I would guess. Didn't Rayman Legends have multiplayer? I think both the Origins and Legends did, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
4-player co-op.
Yeah.
I mean, the Legends is basically an expansion of the other one, really. Practically speaking.
It contained a number of Origins levels within it.
Yeah, it did.
Not quite everything, though.
Yeah, not quite everything, but
I imagine they probably chose some of the better stuff.
I think they actually just omitted one of the later worlds entirely, didn't they?
I don't remember to what extent it was. It's been a long time since I've played either game. It's weird.
There were a
'cause-
handful of missing levels in the middle, though, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what I was doing there.
They had all the chest levels, though. Which was nice.
Yeah, it's a little weird because like I did really enjoy both Legends and Origins, but I've never really went back to them.
Actually, 100% completed Legends.
I forget if I did or not. It seems like the kind of game I would want to. I'm pretty sure I did for Origins at the very least. But yeah, like I did really like both games. I don't know why I never really had much of a desire to go back to them though. I should, try and play them again. The only issue is I can't really play Origins because I had that on 360 and my 360 died.
Oh, yeah?
And I mean, I can play Legends because I had that on Wii U. Ideally, I'd want them on PC, but like
I was about to say, both of them are on PCs.
yeah,
so-
but like you need like Uplay to play them or something, and that's like it's like they're on
Okay.
Steam, but I need Uplay to play them.
Oh, yeah. I think I actually got Legends for free on Uplay at one point.
Yeah, see, I have a Uplay account because I used to play Assassin's. It was Assassin's Creed that you used it for. You used to use it for.
Which Assassin's Creed game?
I think it was. Oh, which one was it? Revelations, maybe. That I ended up using it and getting a bunch of points for having played other games or whatever, and I don't know. I got some coins and some free stuff or whatever their currency thing was, and bought some stuff with it, I guess. Where are we doing? We're a bit behind on chat here. Says my main complaint with Yuka was the worlds were pretty bland and boring, but aside from that, I enjoyed the gameplay. It's crazy. The last 3D Rayman was Gen 3 free Rayman 4. Legends was great. Now we have Grand Cliffs. That was all Neo Lanky. Now we have. Saying. Speaking of which, Ubisoft is pulling some servers and apparently is going to cut off access to some people's DLC on some games.
Yeah, I heard about that.
That old
Oh, yeah.
definitely doesn't want me. That's also another thing. I don't really want to support Ubisoft.
Yeah,
I
they-
can understand that.
Yeah, I mean, I only use my Uplay account when a game absolutely demands it, and because I have it already, right?
Maybe maybe I should just play Origins on Dolphin with the Wii version.
Yeah, because I mean, Ubisoft.
You have an ultimatum. Either
uh,
give money to Ubisoft or Nintendo.
I'd rather give it to Nintendo.
Yeah, I
I'd
mean,
rather
in
pick
all
Mario.
honesty, Ubisoft has lately been acting like a bunch of scumbags. So.
As opposed to Nintendo, who's never acted unfriendly to the consumer.
No.
I mean, Nintendo's
I'm
got
not
their
saying
own
that
problems.
I'm not saying Nintendo's perfect. It's just, I mean, these guys are sort of going against the trust of digital goods that they'll be kept available for people who purchase them because they didn't have them in physical.
Yeah. But anyways, on
Which
to
is, just absolute trash.
on the one thing Neo Link said. I mean, I didn't really find Yuka's Worlds that boring. I mean, I suppose like the first two didn't really do that much new or anything. Like the first one was sort of a tropical green grassy area with some ruins, and the second one was mostly just an ice level. But I think the levels past that are pretty neat. Yeah, Spooky Swamp, which maybe not be the most original, but I like spooky swamps. And but after that, when we get Capital Casino, I think that one's really cool, and especially Galleon Galaxy. It looks like a mix of space and with like ocean and stuff.
So Brinkliff saying whenever Nintendo has a bad play, it feels like they're just being dumb rather than being outright greedy or malicious.
I mean,
Not always. I mean, I do find Nintendo sometimes is doing stuff
I
that
mean,
feels
some
pretty,
stuff
but they,
might be, some stuff
Yeah.
might be because they're being dumb, but there's definitely some greed in there.
yeah.
Let's
I
just put it
mean,
this way.
like, every time
If
they
we
shut
want to look
down
at one of the
their
more
stores,
recent controversies
you
with the, what was it, the Mario collection, I don't think that one was a unintentional mistake.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not saying Nintendo isn't scummy, but like, and they actually are pretty bad for not being able to download stuff again because they shut down their stores that you would need to download it, right? So, I mean, I guess it's not bad, but like, it's like they're pulling it out of places that it was previously that previously would have kept it available, and I don't know quite why they're doing it. Whatever. Again, I usually put more of my money towards indie devs, and I only generally speaking, buy AAA when it goes super cheap.
Yeah, support it. Oops.
Exactly. I don't know. I find with a lot of AAA games, like even when there are people on the creative team that makes them that care about the game and everything else, it still ends up being sort of under the foot of both the corporate and being a corporate entity and having managers and everything trying to like force things out quicker or be more profit oriented. Whereas an indie dev, they're just making games because they like games and they want to get paid for doing something they enjoy, right? Where it isn't entirely about the money. And you end up with a
On
lot
a
more
brighter note, have
personality.
you guys played any interesting or fun indie games recently that play around with mechanics or something in a way that you didn't expect maybe, or did something very interesting that kind of took you off guard?
I think the last indie game I played, I don't remember if it was Noita or if it was something else. Like, Noita is a hell of a lot of fun. I have no idea what I'm doing half the time, but, like, that was a lot of fun.
The last one I played was Dusk.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, we
I've
did-
actually been on a little binge recently. I played Diaries of a Spaceport Janitor and then Tiny and Big Grandpa's Leftovers. I played a collection of games by this one developer that I don't remember the name of, but it was a few different kind of roguelike type games that they made, which were interesting. And then I played through The Forgotten City, which was a Skyrim mod that got built out into a full game. That was actually really interesting. I always like it when modders kind of do their own thing.
Yeah.
I think
Say
the
that-
last. Well, no, you gone. You gone.
No, you go. It's fine. I was just...
Well, it's just the last one I think I've seen or played was Infernax, but I've mentioned that one way too much.
Well, I don't think you're talking about it on stream yet. Do you want to tell the good people on stream about Infernax?
Well, now a whole lot's going
Um,
on in the game. Just me playing the same parts of the levels over and over again.
Yeah.
It's I think it's inspired by Castlevania 2. And it's basically an ultra-violent 2D side-scroller where you're someone who comes home from the Crusades to find that the lands have been overrun with darkness. And so you have to try and save the people, or be evil, because there is depending on which quests you do, and stuff, you can be either good or bad.
Oh, so they kind of expanded on the RPG mechanics that were in Simon's Quest?
Yeah, when they even added things like, if in the beginning you type in the Konami code, it becomes a Contra-like game.
Oh, damn, that's so much fun.
Castlevania, but Contra.
Yeah,
Contravania. It's a new thing. We got Egavania and now Contravania.
Nice.
Great. Nice.
Uh,
I guess
maybe.
I've also been messing around in Starbound again. Like that's a game I played a long time ago as well before, too. But it's like I come back to it, and start a new profile, and sort of ban myself from using admin commands because it honestly ruins the game.
Yeah.
It's like
I wish I never found out about that.
What admin
Yeah.
command?
Basically, you can give yourself infinite everything with commands and be invincible and have unlimited energy and
So just
it's
cheats?
also yeah, basically
Yeah.
just cheat. It just gives you everything. You don't get anything. Like it also has a lot of Steam Workshop stuff, and I've been deliberately avoiding the really broken modded stuff. Like there are some things that'll give you guns that just kill everything, right? And it's like
Oh, actually,
I've avoided those. They're
yeah.
like too overpowered.
I just want to mention, Neolanky, I actually think I've seen Pizza Tower on Twitter a few times, and it looked really cool.
Yeah, that looks
I'm gonna
really
pick
cool.
it up at
There's
some point.
also Anton Blast, which is another Wario-like.
That's another game that Neolanky mentioned in the comment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, actually, that reminds me, has that Wario Doom thing that you were playing gotten the second thing, or the...
Not yet.
Okay.
You're still working on it.
Yeah, these things take time, I was just curious.
Oh, I was struggling to keep lately there. But yeah, Treasure Tech was the Doom mod, which is really fun. I think he somewhat recently did a update where he said it's going to be pared back than what it was originally planning on being, but
That's
still.
always a good sign.
Yeah, because I think, it's something that he would work it for no money. And
Exactly.
He wants to work on stuff that he could actually make money off of.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, I think it's perfectly reasonable.
I think it's more than reasonable.
I mean, if he wants to make his own shooter with all the Treasure Tech stuff in it, and it's like its own full game, original IP, not just attached to Doom, you know what? I'll buy it.
Yeah, like I also find with indie titles, so it's like there's such a wide variety of genres that I try with them because like if you're gonna try a new genre, it's better often to go with someone who, with a game that's made by someone who really cares about what they were making, right? It isn't gonna be so watered down or made for extreme profit or anything like that. Like, it's actually kind of better to go with an indie. So like obviously do your research, because there are plenty of low budget indie titles that didn't do very well because they weren't very well made. But it's like, just thinking about we got I'm just looking through a list in my Steam library here. We got Duck Game, which is sort of like a party shooter kind of thing. Then we have Risk of Rain 2, which is very. I'm not very good, but Friday, you know what's going on with Risk of Rain 2. Then
Risk of Rain 2 is an interesting game because it's a roguelike, but it's a roguelike that avoids certain conventions of the roguelike genre, namely the fact that the maps aren't actually randomly generated. They're set maps with random elements that are then placed on them.
I'm no good at it, but I really did enjoy my time in there. Right? It's because it's like a
Mind you, Risk of Rain 2 is kind of a weird one to call an indie game because it's published by Gearbox.
Published by, not made by.
True, but it's still published by Gearbox.
It's an indie dev who managed to get a big publisher to publish for them, okay? But it's still very indie in the way it's made. Sable, just keep going through. Solar 2 is sort of it's not a long game. It's not a complicated game. It's a very chill game to play. I got Noida in the list, Hollow Knight, Dust. I haven't played Rain World yet, but it's in there. Diaries of a Spaceport Janitor's in there. Is that one indie title?
Yeah, Diaries of a Spaceport Janitor was actually really
and
interesting.
Starbound. This is just all things that just recently either added to my library or that I've played, and it's like there are a few games that aren't indie games on there. Like Far Cry 5 is on there. I'm not very far into that. I was sort of getting through the intro, but I wasn't really feeling the vibe of it for right now. Just I will play it. It's just not. I'm just not in the mood for it. Oh, Gris is in here as well. I guess that's indie. But then there's Horizon Zero Dawn. Played a lot of that. Fallout 4. Stuff like that. Halo Infinite's in there because I wanted to play with a friend. I haven't actually put many hours into that at all. Certainly, I haven't put any dollars into it.
Single player is fun. Well, I mean,
I don't have the single player. I just downloaded the free multiplayer thing to mess around with a friend. It's just Yeah, I think the majority of titles in my library are indie on some level.
I also
Obviously,
grabbed
hardcore.
a few of the itch bundles that are around recently that have been pretty good. I haven't played a lot of the stuff yet just because I've been away, but I'm very excited to get around to them when I eventually do.
I find I actually end up playing a lot of retro stuff with indie developers as well. Like, you know, with really nice pixel art and things like that. Like, with interesting stuff. Megasphere has really, really cool environments and stuff. It's like really push what you can do with pixels and stuff. The game itself, it's still in development. It's kind of an oddball thing. Like, I want to replay it again sometime when it's been developed more, but I don't know where it is on that. I think it was like one or two like level areas before, but I can't recall if it's. I think it might be randomly generated too. It's been a while. There's Monolith. You can see in my list. I'm just going through my library now at this point, which is kind of like a bullet hell, but it's sort of like done room by room. So you're not just in this endless wave of bullet hell-like stuff. It's just you enter a room filled with enemies that shoot a lot. You kill them, and you get a little bit of breathing time, which, like I'm not good at bullet hells, and I don't usually enjoy playing them. But I do enjoy this one. I think because I get that little rest in between areas of.
Oh, Neolanky. Actually, you saying that in chat. I'm not the biggest JRPG fan, but I've been getting into them a little bit more. And recently, I found this meme, which was let me find the text of it. Oh, here we go. Do not ask a white boy for Steam sale recommendations. They'll just start telling you to play an indie RPG Earthbound-inspired platformer that's actually about being depressed. Which I thought was very appropriate.
God. Memes, man.
Oh.
Look, I'll mainly recommend indie Metroidvanias and platformers.
Yeah.
And I'll just recommend weird stuff.
Yeah.
And I'll recommend the best quirked up indie Earthbound-inspired thing being Yick.
Oh, jeez.
A game I've never played but has a funny title.
Probably could have made it. Probably shouldn't have went with the Roman numeral too.
I feel as if they should have just committed to calling the game Yick.
Always
Like, drop the pretense of Y2K, just call it Yick.
I remember the review for that game.
There's been a few, like, multi-hour, like, documentary-style reviews on it. It's very funny.
Yeah, probably shouldn't go into that though.
I've never played the game, so all I know is that people have generally not been super positive on it, and they've made a lot of videos. But I just like the title. I think it's a brilliant title.
Let's see, trying to think of other. The Broforce is a hell of a fun.
That's a
Completely different from
classic.
completely different from the other ones I listed there too, right? It's like, and this is what I sort of mean, like
Oh, you played that?
a lot of the games I've
Yeah,
listed
yeah, I
here
actually
are
played
different
Broforce.
genres. Yeah, no, I made a nice level in Broforce.
It's really popular.
Yeah, it's on the. It's nearly made it to the top of the second page of most popular all time. Actually, I know I'm bragging a little bit here about the thing, but I'm really actually happy that I was expecting it to like drop off the list over time, but it's actually gone up the list. So I don't know how to explain it.
I'm surprised about that.
Yeah, no, I'm shocked. But I don't know if anyone here plays Broforce, but
I said, I actually, my first introduction to Broforce was the browser version.
really.
There's a
didn't know
browser
there's
version.
Yeah, I don't know. I have on Steam Workshop. It's called Terror in the Jungle. I think it's fun to play through. It's just like a one-level thing. It's not one of those big multi-level things, but I don't know. Getting a little off topic though. Though the Workshop is definitely something else I like. Find it comes up more often with indie titles than main branch titles, right? I mean, there are exceptions, of course, but
I know, when I think Steam
Like-
Workshop, I always just think of first-party Valve stuff.
Yeah, mostly
Yeah,
Left 4 Dead
I
and
guess.
Starbound for me.
Yeah, Left 4 Dead, Gary's Mod, stuff like that. Gary's mod is just the Steam Workshop. It's not a game on its own. It's just the Steam Workshop.
Yeah, Broforce. Oh yeah, I guess Extended Rose is Broforce. So yeah, it's just yeah. Yeah, like I like it when there's workshop stuff. It's just people can just throw stuff together. I think the workshop for Broforce is mainly just custom levels, but I think I've heard some other people did some stuff with it, but then I go to something like Fallout 4, which is known for its modding, and there is no workshop, so it's like...
Yeah, well, that's because it's got the Nexus community, right?
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, not sure I'd want to be going through the workshop for installing that sort of mods.
Mind you, didn't Skyrim, at least Special Edition, have a bunch of mods on Workshop for it?
Maybe, I don't know. I just went straight to Nexus.
Yeah. I will say, one thing I really have loved recently is the Steam Next Fests that they've been doing. It's been really, really fun going through those and trying out a bunch of different things to kind of get an eye on it. I have a ton of upcoming indie games wishlisted just because of that.
Yeah. Yeah, then I think like Hyper Light Drifter is sort of a top-down around thing, and then I go and I find...
Oh, did you see the second Hyper Light Drifter thing was announced?
Yeah, Hyper Light Buster or something, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that. I'll have to wait and see more on it.
Well,
like,
I think it's a 3D dungeon crawler, right?
Kind of looks like it, which I don't know. Like, there were so much messages and like such an artistic vibe to the other one that I sort of hope they haven't lost like what made.
Well, did you see Solar Ash? Because they put that out pretty recently, and that was the same team.
Maybe as long as they haven't lost the vibe of Hyper Light Drifter, because like before it was kind of like an allegory for how people handle life and death, and it had this crazy atmospheric feel to it.
Well, yeah, wasn't it very much based on the experience of the development studio's founder and his experience with, was it congenital heart disease or whatever?
Something like that, yeah, I think. Like, I hadn't really fully realized it until I watched a video on it, but it's like, it made so much sense when I heard about it. It's like,
yeah.
But then there's sort of this underlying story about the society as well. So there's the message, but there's this sort of very fun story to go along.
Yeah, I don't know. I definitely think that the kind of I guess like the ever presence of something like a genetic illness is interesting in the way it's expressed in the game, but also kind of very background.
Yeah, and then like
the heart pumping action is definitely the thing the game focuses a lot more on.
The 39%.
Yeah, which might make it a little bit, which might actually detract from it for me, because I do like having that feeling of the world. But then going on to this theme of different themes for stuff, then there's like games like Party Hard, which is you're a serial killer you're trying to kill everyone in the stage, but it's like a sort of stealth. But like
very
it's
Hitman.
Yeah, it's a stealth thing, yeah, and it doesn't require you to actually be hidden all the way. It just requires you to not get caught. Yes. I haven't tried the sequel, but
did they call it Party Harder?
I don't think they did, sadly.
God damn it!
It's a wasted opportunity. And there's Owlboy, which is a sort of.
Wait, Brad. Okay, never mind. Sorry, the stream was just buffering for a second. It was a long buffer.
Yeah, it's just the internet, I guess. The Owlboy is just sort of a platform, side-scrolling platformer, but you're sort of flying around a lot more. It's very different.
Have you guys heard about a Turbo Overkill?
I don't think so.
It's an arena shooter type thing where you have a chainsaw leg.
Good premise.
So when you slide, you just absolutely murder people.
That does sound fun.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And say next game I'm finding on the list is completely it's like Pit People, which is a sort of tile-based, turn-based.
Oh,
strategy.
wasn't that the turn-based thing the Behemoth guys made?
Yes, it is. It is. It's sort of this hexagonal, turn-based.
Okay.
This
is probably network things, right? But the stream is like constantly chopping in and out of a refresh.
It's got to be on your end, man. It's been perfectly smooth for me, so.
Okay, it could be on my end, but I was seeing that.
No.
Okay.
So far, it's been holding out nice and steady for me.
Okay, that's good. That's good. It's just sometimes it can. Okay, yeah, cool. Thank you, Prankler. I know that sometimes that stuff can be on one side or it can be another. Just thought I'd mention. Yeah, we're all good. We're all good. Good to hear.
Yep. Yeah.
I'll turn my quality down just so I'm not giving false positives.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna go through all my indie games, but it's just sort of like it's just so many genres and ideas that I probably would have never even tried if it weren't for like just the way they do them. There's like you can tell there's a passion in what they've done and that they
Indie
do what they're
devs
doing well.
are making the games that they want to play themselves.
Yeah,
As
whereas
opposed to
AAA making a game that they think will sell.
Yeah.
I don't know if I necessarily agree with that statement.
Well, okay, it's not like a.
It's not 100%.
Well, no, not even just because of that, but because I feel as if a lot of larger game companies, especially the first parties, are starting to put more money into projects that during the last console generation probably would never have been greenlit.
I mean, things are definitely better than they were.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. I think they're starting to realize that what the indie developers were doing is what actually is what people want and want to put their money on, and it's starting to actually affect how they think about things. Because
I think you're giving a little too much credit to the way that's shaken up the industry, but at the same time, that's not to minimize the effect that market has had. I just feel as if instead of having a very singular games industry that's focused on a lot of just kind of the big picture, we've managed for, I guess, a broader diversity of things. And I think a large amount of that can be credited to the kind of shift that's happened after the Xbox Live Arcade. And the way that smaller titles became more accessible on console.
Yeah. You know, yeah, you have to make if you make your game super generic though, or super money focused, it's not going to last forever. Like yes, there are exceptions. There are exceptions to every rule, right? Like, there are a lot of really bad indie games out there, honestly.
There are exceptions to every rule, or as I like to call it, there's an excuse for why this rule isn't 100% consistent. Dude, trust me, it still works.
Yeah. No, did you just get double hit there? Like, man.
I will say, I do very much enjoy how, especially a lot of the game shows now, they have a very, very big indie thing with them, right? With the Summer Game Fest and Xbox Showcase and stuff. They're really, really trying to harp on the fact that it's not just, you know, the next big first party thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The games industry is definitely in a lot healthier of a state than it was not that long ago.
Yeah.
Say, as I think about it though, like some of the biggest selling games lately, like in recent history, have been either indie or started as indie, right? You get
no.
like Minecraft started as indie.
Well, I mean, there's some like
Right, and then Terraria has a massive number of sales accumulated over
I mean,
time.
there are like a few indie games that have really big successes, but
yeah, like it's
most
not
indie
knocking
games
out
don't
Halo. It's not knocking.
outdo
It's
AAA
not.
games.
Yeah, it's not knocking out. Not knocking out Halo or Call of Duty. Or anything
Well, let's
like
just
that.
check
I like to know,
2021,
like,
right? Let's look at what the most best-selling games were of 2021, apparently. In the United States, according to Statista, whatever, the top 2 selling games were Call of Duty and Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Call of Duty Vanguard, the Call of Duty game that was known for not being that popular, and then Madden, then Pokemon, then Battlefield, which a bunch of people didn't even say they liked, then Miles Morales, then Mario Kart 8, again apparently, Resident Evil Village, MLB The Show, Far Cry 6, Super Mario 3D World, I guess in the re-release, FIFA 22, and Minecraft by Microsoft.
I was meaning more in total sales, right? Not just the last year or whatever. It's like Minecraft is still an enormously popular game today. But
that's what I mean. Minecraft was in the top-selling games of last year.
Yeah, but it started off as an indie game, and yes, was bought by Microsoft, and they become sort of a big company, although admittedly a company that just does Minecraft stuff. It started out indie because there was a good concept that they had, and they expanded on it, and it grew, and I think developers for Terraria are still indie, but it's like they're an indie company with a lot of money from selling a very popular game.
Well, didn't 505 Games, the publisher, pick them up
I think only for the console
Maybe.
version.
for the console? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you're always gonna need help with stuff, especially if you're a small team, right? You know, if you become popular enough to get the attention of a larger company, though, like, you know, and they're offering help for this, get your game on more systems, well, I guess you take it, right?
Oh yeah, no, there's no problem with going to a publisher.
Yeah.
Is the Terraria team making anything new? Yes, more Terraria. They'll never ever stop making Terraria. No matter how many times they say they've
okay.
stopped making Terraria.
Now they say that this next update is the last one for reals, but you know how
They
it is.
said that like
When was the last time they
times,
said that?
The last update.
and the update before that, and the update before that.
They say that this last update is actually the last one, then they'll work on something else. Will that
Guys,
actually?
we swear.
Right.
Are they telling the
Terraria 2.
truth? We'll see.
Terraria 2, I'll bet.
I don't think they'll jump right into
2.0.
Terraria 2, but... No. I don't think
What do you
they'll go
mean?
to Terraria 2 immediately, but
Weren't they working on
No.
Terraria 2 at one point?
no, that was
No.
Terraria Otherworld, which is a spin-off, not
Oh, it was meant to be a
And they,
spin-off. Okay.
and they abandoned it, and then they rolled it into regular Terraria.
well, the
Through,
soundtrack at least.
plus the soundtrack, yeah. Or at least as much of it as they had done before they stopped. Which I think is kind of unfortunate that they had dropped it. Like, it's nice that they gave us the music, but it's like, come on, guys. What was wrong with it, really?
Everything. You have no idea.
Just figured you could make a little more money out of the first one, or like, come on, Terraria 2 would be great.
They should skip Terraria 2, just make Terraria 3.
3.0. Yeah, I know. I was really excited for Terraria Otherworld, and yeah, and then it's canceled. It's just like, oh, just sadness. It's like, come on, guys, you've made your money off Terraria. Now, create some other game that you could be passionate about. I mean, unless you really were just 2D Minecraft and that's all there was for inspiration. Which, you know, I don't want to accept if it is true, even if it is true, but, you know. Still. Oh, I'm still very excited to see what they come up with. Terraria. Oh, yeah. Terraria.
How about 2D Terraria?
How about a sequel to 2D Terraria?
2D Terraria 2?
Ooh, Raria. Nice. Nice. Painful. But nice.
Oh no. Bomb is still following me. Okay.
Just runs into the saw and grabs her again. It's just like, what's getting hit really?
Running a bit low on time.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen, but
Yeah.
I mean, this sort of shows you just how difficult the Impossible Lair is. It does have that real feeling of impossible.
Honestly, they should have called it something like the Impossible Lair just to like explain to you how hard it was.
Jeez.
I
Yeah, I
at the
mean,
very
I
least that I made some progress on it.
I'm honestly quite impressed with how far you've went, and also I am absolutely floored by the fact that that was only what 30-something% you said.
Yeah, this is a long level.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I would have already given up ages ago.
Good news for us, you're not the one playing.
Oh yeah, no kidding.
Also, we are now in the last 12 hours of the stream.
Oh, we are. Like, we're into the last 12. Nearly.
I know.
Stream? What stream? What's it all about?
Ah, very, very clever. Clever. Well, this stream, the stream that we're only got 12 hours left, actually, 11 hours and 16 minutes left in, is the Dawn of a New Day charity stream, which is a charity stream in support of the charity organization Direct Relief, which is a charity organization that helps with humanitarian crisis all around the world. They help out with disaster relief as well, and they're currently active in the situation in Ukraine. So if that sounds like a charity that you would be interested in supporting, 100% of all of the donations to the stream go straight towards direct relief. And yeah, currently we have a donation goal of if we hit $1,220 in cumulative donations, we will have Red sing a Donkey Kong Country cartoon song. And I believe he said that because he did Fish the Lair, he would do 2. So yeah, should be fun. If you're interested in hearing 2 different Donkey Kong Country cartoon songs from the Red Guy himself, you can be a donator.
Well, the 2 that I would sing for not completing this is separate from the one that for the donation.
Oh, you would sing 2 on top of the one on top of this. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure about that. My bad.
Yeah.
And you know when like you're playing the hard part of a game and like playing it over and over again, you know, you might actually be getting better, but then you start getting worse.
Yeah, because
That's not even just with games. That's with a lot of stuff. I have that with music a lot when I'm
Yeah.
practicing.
that's just life. One moment
Life.
you seem to be getting
Don't
good,
talk
and
to
then
me
you,
about life.
then you get a moment where it's just like you get to a certain point and then you start stumbling around. So you're just really just getting tired and worn out from it.
Actually, that reminds me of the life. Don't talk to me about life thing. Have you guys ever read or listened to the Hitchhiker's Guide, the radio show or the book?
No.
How?
I've seen the old sort of, I guess, was
The
it 2
TV
parts
show?
or 3 parts? Yeah, it was say TV show, but there's such long segments. It's not really a show.
The BBC one, I think.
Yeah, not that modern reinterpretation.
Well, there's the film.
I've seen
but
that. I've seen
yeah.
the film, yeah, but like that original live action thing was way better. I did watch all the way through, and it was very good.
We've got a donation.
Oh, we have a donation.
I don't like what they did with Marvin. I like Marvin to be that old school robot.
$1 donation from Neo saying this guy can't even be this guy can't even beat the first level. I would never. Thank you
Yeah.
very much for the $1 donation, Neo.
Very funny.
I mean, he's not wrong.
That is true. He is not wrong.
Also, you're right. It was a 6-episode long BBC Two miniseries that aired in 1981.
Yeah, no, it was. I do wish that they were able to finish the series. Right, like
They
I think
finished
the books were.
most of the first book.
I'm not sure all the books were written at the time yet. Like they weren't. It wasn't done yet.
The radio show had aired at the time already, though, and the radio show had gone beyond what even the second and third book had touched. So
Yeah, it's just.
they had content to adapt.
Yeah, like there's definitely more to get out of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy for me than I have consumed so far. It's just I haven't gotten back to it, or I don't know. I'd actually like to just listen to the books like as an audiobook. And
I would listen to the radio show. It was the original. So the radio show came before the books. The books are actually an adaptation of it. Written by the same person, but yeah.
Okay, well, maybe send me a link to that sometime.
Oh yeah, the archive.org page for it actually just has that. Let me find it real quick.
Yeah, just DM that to me. I'd like to listen to that. It'd be a good thing to listen to while working. You know, it's like I'm not against reading things. It's just I have things to do, so I don't really have time to invest into reading because it means I'm not getting other things done. But if I can listen to the story, or in this case even a radio play that the story will be based on.
Yeah, well, it's like I mean,
Yeah.
I haven't been exercising lately, but when I've been exercising, I've been listening to the Metro audiobook.
Oh yeah.
Nice. So since we're evidently not going to see too much going on with much of the characters here, except for that guy, what did and I haven't played ukulele, so these characters, so what's sort of like the backstory of, like perhaps this villain-looking character that we have here?
So this is Capital B. In the first game, he was more of a businessman, or like sort of a corporate head, and he was he was trying to find this book called The One Book, which allows you to sort of rewrite reality if you have it. And he had this like machine that would like suck up books from everywhere. And apparently Yuka and Laylee had the book, but they didn't realize what it was. And so it got sucked away, and that's what set them off on their adventure. The jiggies of ukulele were the pages of that book. They're called pages.
I see, right.
Yuka and Laylee are just friends that are just kind of chilling in this like shipwreck that's nearby Ivory Towers, which is where Capital B's is.
Right.
And so yeah, it's just simple them going to stop Capital B from getting the one book. Although we find out at the end of that he's actually working for some mysterious other guys that we still do not know who they are.
Right.
Which I assume,
presumably that will be carried out in a sequel if
Yeah.
they make it.
and
Yeah.
we don't find out who they are in this game either.
Yeah.
So in this game, Capital B is sort of gone all like weird militaristic and is now attempting to conquer the Royal Staindom.
Right.
Bees.
Yeah.
And so I think Queen Phoebe or something like that is asked Yuka and Laylee for help because we defeated him before. And so, yeah. We come here to attack him in the Impossible Lair, but his defenses are too strong, as you have seen. And,
Yeah, you're too strong for this attempt at his well-being.
Yeah, we get a taste of the Italian in the intro where Queen Phoebe gives us them to get past the intro bit, but right before the start of the parts that I'm playing, Capital B uses the Hive Mind, which is that thing on the end of his staff, to take away the battalion.
Right.
Which is why we have to go and collect them, and why he has them when we fight them. He also attempted to use that to control the queen, but the hive mind needed to charge up, which is why he doesn't use it to take away the battalion when we have it in here.
Right. It's just batteries low.
Yeah.
See, even
Hey,
supervillains can't.
Yeah, because he's kind of got like a. Where is he? Gru or Drew? I always forget.
Gru.
Gru from
Despicable Me.
He's got that exact vibe to him, right? It's like if he got turned into a bee, this is what he would look like.
Right, can we just take a second to appreciate the first Despicable Me movie? It is unironically a fantastic film.
Yeah, the first Despicable Me is great. I've
The
never
second one
seen-
isn't terrible, but it's definitely not as good. And the third one, I think, is the point in time where the series kind of. Well, let's put it this way: you're in a post-Minions world at that point.
Yeah, it's like Minions has become the franchise lately. I think.
Well,
Kinda.
no, Despicable Me
It-
3
it's
actually
not.
focused very, very much back in on.
Oh, I know.
Gru.
That was fun. It's just like it's like all you ever hear about is Minions. Like even when we're talking about Despicable Me movies, like you can get into a conversation where you're talking about the movie itself, but it's the Minions. The Minions are the iconic thing that everybody thinks of. Whether you're talking about the Minion movies or the Despicable Me movies, where they just go Minions. That's all they talk about.
Well, it's yeah, and I
And
think
until you
that
start getting
it's
in depth, right?
it's not necessarily because the movies even focus on that in an aggressive way, but it's certainly because the
They're every kid's favorite character in the movie. And
they're
very
all consuming in
memorable.
terms of the brand. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
right.
what would the Despicable Me movie be without the Minions, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, it probably
Story-
wouldn't actually be
story-wise-
that good because they were quite
Yeah,
well used
exactly.
in the first film. It's just
yeah, they are a comic relief that adds a level of sort of endearing entertainment to it. And I know
Yeah,
some
I
people hate
find
the
it-
Minion movies, but it's like the Minion movies are still kind of fun. Like,
I find
It's
it
like,
funny that the
you're
Minions
not supposed to take it
are,
seriously.
like, how similar the Minions are to the rabbits from Rayman.
yeah,
That
and yet
is
I don't
definitely
hate them.
funny.
And yet I don't hate them with all my heart. Yeah.
I mean, at
Can't
least
hate
the
Minions, but I
Minions
can
didn't
hate Rabbids.
kill off the Rayman series for a while.
Yeah. Like they Rayman was their stepping stone, and now they just rule the world. They're with Mario and Sonic and just Rabbids anywhere.
Can I just say,
Not even
the
Rayman
Mario and Rabbids game is solely geared to annoy me specifically.
Oh, it annoys Rain though too, so much.
Not well,
Because it's a good game from what I hear,
Well, it's
and
like-
everyone hates that it's a good game.
because it's like it's a crossover with Mario and the Rabbids, and I already don't like the Rabbids because of what they did to Rayman. So it's like, oh, like.
and you should
really?
wait to hear his opinions on Mario. Oh, does not like that guy.
So it's like, Mario gets
Right,
crossover with the Rabbids
right.
and not Rayman. Well, Rayman is just kind of in a basement somewhere. But not only that, like, the soundtrack was done by Grant Kirkhope, the guy who did, the banjo soundtrack.
Oh, that's sweet.
So it's like, okay,
Grant Copa, the man who invented banjo music.
it's like this game in which that is geared towards me, like, being annoyed by default, has that composer.
It's just got great
it's
music,
also-
good gameplay.
It's also,
and Rabbids.
like
Heck,
the
Rabbid.
last Mario RPG that still kind of exists.
Realistically, yeah.
Actually,
then-
yeah, I just realized that's the only Mario RPG franchise that's had an entry. Actually, I guess a Paper Mario did. We had Origami King.
Origami.
but-
Oh yeah, although obviously that's
Yeah,
there's
it's
some
a
baggage
little bit
there,
different.
but
Yeah.
like there's that. The game ends up being really good, and I can't even hate the developers because of that one. I forget where it was. If it was like E3 or like an award show or something, where it's like the developers were like talking about it, and they seemed so genuine and sweet. And it's like I can't hate these people. And not only that, there was Donkey Kong DLC for it.
Yeah, it's
With-
like everything you could have ever wanted in any other game.
And it's like you play as Donkey Kong, and again, Grant Kirkhope making the music for it, including a remix of the DK Isle theme, DK64. It's like, what? Wow.
Everything you could have ever wanted in a game,
Uh.
in exactly the game you didn't want it in.
And the worst part is,
I think somebody knew that was going to be the case with everyone, and that's why they did it, because they knew that would make it sell
It was
properly.
just a
and not to be-
troll. That was it.
Yeah, well, no, it's just so it wouldn't get shut down because it was rabbits.
And the worst part is
Like they had to make it work. Otherwise, it was going to be a massive waste of time and money.
and the worst part is I bought the game. I haven't
Yeah,
played
you
it yet,
can't-
but I bought it a little while ago because it was like a super sale.
I think it was actually free
can't
to
not
try
all-
as a
all-
Switch Online owner recently.
I got it before that.
Yeah, when the only downside really is that it has rabbits in it. It's like, it's so much to
It's like-
weigh down.
It's like, why? Why? I mean, I don't know how much I'll end up liking the game just because of the type of game.
Are
it
you
is,
a tactical
but
RPG fan?
Not really. So,
But
I mean, I'll give it an honest effort at some point, so we'll see, but I'm unsure of how much I'll end up liking it. Ignoring the whole rabbits thing.
yeah, rabbits were funny the first time they did rabbits.
It was fine before they killed off Rayman for a while.
Yeah, but like the Rayman we got was what, Rayman Origins, Rayman Legends.
Yeah,
It wasn't
it
really.
was-
I
It was nice when we
remember
got
as a
those,
kid.
but then that was it.
When I was a kid, we did play the Rayman games, and I remember it was always a very magical experience. But it's like the whole thing feels almost like a dream because it's like I remember so little of it. I remember playing it and loving it. It's like, I think it was Rayman 3 actually. I was playing. I'm not 100% sure if it's 2 or 3, but it's just.
I played the demo
a
for
game
Rayman
that-
3
game
because
that-
it was free on
game-
Xbox at one point.
Game that completely fell off my radar for no reason that I can explain.
Alright, given the time, this is going to be the last attempt.
Also, I don't know if anyone saw it, but Neil Lanky in chat said Capital D with Gru's voice is now my headcanon. Whenever we get a ukulele animated film, we're gonna have to get Steve Carell to voice
Actually, something I forgot to mention is
Capital D.
after this game came out, there was a comic made called Ukulele and the Crackle Stone, which I did buy when I got this on Steam because I initially
Is that
got this
any
game
good?
on Switch, and I just died. That was the last attempt. But
Was the
yeah,
comic
yeah,
good?
Yeah, it was a good read. Okay. Well,
Dying in roughly the same place that was the furthest that you got. You'd only be a little further up there to be. better than that,
45
so.
attempts only made it 39% of the way there.
Donkey Kong Country cartoon songs.
Yeah, so as you can see, the Impossible Lair, just a little hard.
Just a little. Just a
Smidge.
bit. A little.
Yeah.
Teensy bit.
Okay, so as promised, I have a couple of BKC songs to sing, and I know which two I want to do.
We're also only $18 away from having to sing a third one.
Well, I'm feeling like that probably should change when I get to the next game, because it's less
Not,
relevant.
not until
Yeah.
you're done singing.
Just
I think.
give me a moment. My mouth is dry again.
Is your face numb?
No.
Just talking and talking and talking and talking and talking.
Okay, so I guess I'll give a little context, because the two that I want to sing are sort of connected to each other. They come from the same episode. The first one, The Mirror Never Lies. So the context of this one is Donkey Kong has lost his memory, and there are these pirates in the show. Captain Scurvy is one here, convincing DK that he's a pirate. So this one is gonna be two parts where both Captain Scurvy and DK sing, and I'll be doing both of them.
Ugh,
Okay.
I remember that episode. That was an episode, all right. All right.
Sure, I'm not some kind of monkey. Why, you're as crock as they come, Donkey Croc. Here, seize for yourself. Then he brings up a fake mirror where he see the mirror frame, and both of them are going to be doing the same motions looking at each other. Okay, let me get to it.
It's song time. Yeah, you gotta get the stuff so you don't forget.
Trust your eyes, look into the mirror, it never lies. You're a pirate, can't you see that this is no disguise? You live to pillage, you live to... Oh, I messed that up, jeez. I'm gonna start over.
Alright, so better get your rhythm back.
You live to pillage, loot, maim, and terrorize. I think
Say
that's
that
it.
5 times fast.
So loot, pillage, loot, pillage, maim, terrorize, okay. Feast your eyes, look into the mirror, it never lies. You're a pirate, can't you see that this is no disguise? You live to loot and pillage, maim and terrorize. The reflection tells a story of a pirate's life of glory. Trust your eyes, the mirror never lies. How can this be? I faintly recall swinging tree to tree, but now I see a pirate that's in front of me. With slimy skin and with scaly skin and beady eyes, what a surprise. The mirror tells a story of a pirate's life of glory. Trust my eye, the mirror never lies. The reflection tells a story of a pirate's life of glory. Trust your eyes, the mirror never lies. The mirror never lies. That convinces DK. He just pulls a mirror frame, starts singing.
Mirror
And
frame,
suddenly-
yeah. just
And
someone behind
suddenly
him.
he believes
Okay.
he is the guy that he's just talking to.
Okay, I'm just saying though, if someone created an entire musical number just to convince me of something, I think they deserve the credit of me just believing them at face value, right?
Yeah,
You wouldn't
at
put
least
that
for a
much
bit.
effort into something that's not true, you know?
Say at least for a bit, right? Like, I mean, gotta give them the dues for their effort.
Yeah, okay, and the second one from the same episode, One of Us, which has Donkey Kong, who thinks he's Donkey Croc, searching for Donkey Kong, because he doesn't realize he is Donkey Kong, and then he runs into King K. Rool, or as the show calls him, K. Rool.
Yeah. Before you start those, Neil Lange says W plus inspired plus emotional plus innovative plus thought provoking plus ratioed.
Okay. You must be looking for someone else. I'm Donkey Croc the pirate, and I'm looking for Donkey Kong the ape. No, you're not. I'm not. No, you're Donkey Rule. Well, listen here while I make it clear. I can't believe you can't see what we see here. A crocodile of a superior species. Your Donkey Croc, initials DC. Looking at your claws. You could be one of my in-laws. Cause you're one of us. You're meet and greet, scaly sheen. Can't you see you're one of us? You walk the walk, my brother Croc. Arm in arm, together we rock. Well, if what you say is true, then I guess we're brothers, same color with a similar hue. With these fangs and this scaly skin, there's no question that we're family next of kin. Cause I'm one of you, same crew, nothing I could do. I could see I'm one of you, the same crew. I'm really one of you. That convinces him.
You see, I was always also
Donkey
funny
Kong
about
is the
all
most
this stuff.
impressionable character in all of television
You know,
history.
at least
Like-
Scurvy showed quote-unquote evidence with the fake mirror. K-Roll just started singing and he was convinced.
Is that his weakness? It's just musical numbers?
Apparently.
Yeah. Yeah, the funny thing is that everything they said could be disproven by simply looking down at his hands and arms and legs.
Yeah, he's convinced
And it's just deeper.
he's convinced he's a crocodile. He can look at his arm and see fur.
I was about to say, how did he convince them that he had scales? Just by, like, saying so?
Yes.
By doing the mirror trick, right? Just like you have scales. So
No,
you-
he
you're
didn't do
just
the mirror trick.
delusional. Oh,
Yeah.
no, K-Roll, it was already in DK's head at that point.
Yeah, like one
Well,
of
no,
the
someone else was in DK's head is the thing.
yeah, like one of the lyrics that K-Roll says is looking at your claws. He doesn't have
Yeah.
claws.
Doesn't DK also just, like, accept that as fact?
Yes.
Yeah, no, whatever fact they give him, it sticks in his head.
So
All
just
right.
now watching the Leo Luster music.
You know, people like to talk crap about that cartoon, and like on a visual standpoint, the show looks awful, and it's not a very good adaptation of Donkey Kong. But I don't know, I find some actual unironic enjoyment out of it, and some of the songs do slap.
I imagine it would probably be quite similar to my enjoyment of Bobby Life in the Dream House, which I don't know if you guys are familiar with that show, but
No.
it is.
No, I'm not. I'm afraid.
That show has references that make me think that the people that made it were trying way harder than they needed to. The first episode has a sequence in which a computer which runs Barbie's wardrobe, which is based on HAL 9000 from 2001: A Space Odyssey, traps them in there, and then Barbie has an Indiana Jones-inspired escape sequence.
Right. I think this is what they were doing to prevent having to make a Barbie show, sucking their soul out by making.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
references.
Like, genuinely, they spent a ridiculous amount of work into it, and it wasn't originally a TV show. I think it was a web series at first, if I'm not mistaken.
You see, Neil Lanky,
There exists.
I'm just gonna say, I don't necessarily disagree with you, though Bluster needs to be a canon.
All right.
Well, Kong is something else.
All right, we should probably go to intermission and get the next game ready because it's supposed to.
Yes.
Yeah, myself.
All right.
Kung Fu
So
master.
we're gonna go to intermission. So be quiet for a moment.